How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to On the Ball, another episode of Review the Prem. We're going to go fast in the weekend's action. One game I don't really want to talk about, which we'll have to breeze past. But look, as you can see, the scores on the doors are 273 to Sim, 259 for myself. The way the scoring works is 5 points for a completely correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result. Star man, once you pick him, you can't pick him again for the rest of the season. And it's 5 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist. Let's start off at Villa Park. It's Aston Villa drew 1-1 with Leeds United. I get a 5 pointer for this one, going for 1-1. Sim went for 2-1 to Villa. So already early doors claw back 5 points, which you love to see. Yeah, to be honest, I thought with that late equaliser for Aston Villa with Tammy Abraham, I thought it was probably what they deserved in terms of a point on the day. I thought it was a very even game, equal amount of chances. Villa probably having like the lion's share of possession, but Leeds definitely created a lot of chances on the day. So yeah, I thought 1-1 was pretty fair.
Yeah, first half, Leeds were the one making the running. Villa came back into it second half and got that equaliser. But what do you think of the fact that Villa fans, half-time, 1-0 down, were booing their team?
Yeah, I mean, this is just...
epidemic around the Premier League, isn't it?
That's it. Like, this is just like what Premier League fans are accustomed to doing these days. I mean, I don't agree with it. I don't like it. And for a team like Villa as well, who are like in the top four, top three...
I understand they're on a bit of iffy form, but
yeah, come on,
boo your team when they've had such a good season. And there's only 1-0 as well. I know they had a poor first half, but I understand if they would have lost this game, I think they would have been winless in 3 home games or something. But still, like, they're doing well.
You've got an Aston Villa side who are in the top 3 booing their team off the pitch. A couple of weeks back, you had Arsenal who were sitting top of the league booing their team off after a loss against Manchester United. Man, I can get it maybe from like Spurs fans who are sitting in like showing like worse form in the Premier League and like nowhere near where they should be. Like that's fair enough. But
2 wins at home all season.
Yeah,
that's different. Yeah.
But like for an Aston Villa side who are performing or above where they expected, and Arsenal who are sitting top of the league, I'm like, come on, man, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think they need to get a grip. I think they should have realised that good run of form that they were on, everyone could see it, that it wasn't truly... they were overperforming massively, and now they're kind of in a bit of a struggle to get top 4.
I don't think they make top 4, by the way.
Really? You think, top 5? Top 5?
I don't think they make top 5.
Really? You think they drop to 7th? 6th?
I think they'll drop to 6th or 7th, yeah. I think Manchester United, for me, could be a potential lock-in for top 5, and I think Chelsea will make it as well.
Chelsea will make it as well. Yeah, I think they've still got Europe as well. Aston Villa, I guess so do Chelsea. Man United don't. I think Man United looking good. We'll get into the race soon. But yeah, Villa are definitely stumbling at the moment. Their form has been quite inconsistent now for quite a bit. But what a goal from Stack, by the way. What a free kick.
He's had a very good season, Stack, hasn't he? Really underrated.
3 free kicks he scored this season.
Yeah, unbelievable. He's got a hell of a shot on him.
And fair play to Leeds. They keep just tossing up those points, don't they? In the bid to fight for safety. Look, for me, they're doing well. They're still not out the woods yet. They haven't got themselves clear, 6 points away. So it's one of those positions where they look safe and they're playing well, but that could easily turn very quickly. So they need to stay vigilant, but they're doing very well.
Yeah, they are doing very well. They've got Man City next, then Sunderland, Palace, Brentford. They've still got Wolves at home, Burnley at home, Brighton at home. I think they'll be all right, to be honest.
I think they will, but they're not safe yet, is my point.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on to Brentford 0, Brighton 2. Both of us went for Brentford wins in this one. And yeah, a bit of a turn up for the form books this one, because Brighton were going really badly, losing a lot of games and hadn't won, I think, since early January. And Brentford, on the other hand, on really good form, just gave Arsenal a really good game a couple of weeks ago and could have won that game. But yeah, Brighton have come in. Danny Welbeck back in the goals. Gomez scored a goal and yeah, really good win for Brighton.
Yeah, they needed this, didn't they? Hurts London, increasing pressure, even potentially talks of getting dragged into that relegation talk. But that win, I think, has given them a 9-point gap now between them and the 18th spot. So I think they're going to be all right. They're one of those teams where they play their football, although they're in bad form. A bit like Bournemouth. Once they get a bit of momentum going, they can start getting some results again. I think that'll probably start to happen now. It's a brilliant win for them, deserved as well. Brentford were not so good in this game.
They had chances though.
They did, but they were dominated. Brighton deserved it, and they deserved the win. So fair play to them. Brentford, just an off day for them, unfortunately.
Yeah,
in their bid for Europe.
The thing is, this happens with Brentford, doesn't it? Like they can go on this run and then they'll just have a really unexpected loss. But don't take away from the fantastic season that they've been having for sure.
Definitely not, but now it's 5 points behind Liverpool, Chelsea. I mean, it was always going to be tough to keep pace with them, and I think they're going to start to fall behind now.
You know what? If they finish 7th, I know, it's still a tall order to finish 7th, but if they do finish 7th, get like Conference League football for next season, like, wow, that's unbelievable. So, yeah, no points on the board for us on this one. Chelsea won, Burnley won. We both went for 3-0 to Chelsea. And you know what? Chelsea take that early lead, don't they? 4 minutes in, and you're thinking this is just going to be an onslaught. This is going to be a battering. And Chelsea just couldn't find the net after that. And then, what's his name? Fofana gets sent off, and you're thinking, what is going on here? And they were just holding out, weren't they, right till the end? 4 minutes into stoppage time, Fleming gets the equaliser. But first and foremost, let's talk about João Pedro, because I keep mentioning it every week that this guy has just been on fire since Liam Rossini has taken over, and another goal in this game.
Yeah, and he's doing really well. But last 2 home games for Chelsea, 2-0 up against Leeds, giving it away, 1-0 up against Burnley, get a man sent off and give it up. Not great couple of weeks for Liam Rossini. And you know how Chelsea work. A couple of these iffy results, all of a sudden the pressure will start to build. I'm not saying he's under pressure already, but if he has a bad end to the season, you never know with Chelsea. Would they change the manager? You just never know.
The thing is, though, I'm watching how Chelsea play right now, and I'm trying to compare it to the Maresca, what Maresca showed this season. And I think by and large, Maresca's football was a lot better than Rossini's.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it was a lot more effective. I think he was probably better out of possession. I think in possession was quite similar, although he's definitely found a different level out of João Pedro. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to really make too many judgments. I don't think it's a massive departure, to be honest. I don't think they sacked Maresca because of his football. It was just disagreements, wasn't it? So it's a bit of a difficult one. I don't see too many massive differences at the moment. But yeah, last 2 weeks haven't been good. They really should have taken 6 points over those last 2 games. Fair play to Burnley, though. Good couple of weeks for them, because we turned it around against Palace and turned it around here against Chelsea as well. So good 4 points, but probably not going to be enough to get them back in that conversation about safety. But at least they're showing some fight.
Yeah, 4 points.
6 red cards, by the way, this season for Chelsea.
Yeah, including a couple of managers sending offs as well. 19 points Burnley are on. Forest are on 27. 10 points away from Tottenham. Burnley, I just can't see it. I just can't see them staying up, but they're giving themselves a tiny slither of a chance by getting these results. But I just can't see it. Yeah.
One hell of a run they'll need.
All right, next up, West Ham 0, Bournemouth 0. We both went, you went for 2-1 win to West Ham. I went for 2-2, so I gained a point for this one. I'll tell you what, I was watching this in hope of a Bournemouth win, but I fell asleep watching it because it was one of the most boring games of football I'd ever seen. West Ham stifled Bournemouth pretty much. Bournemouth, they didn't really hurt Bournemouth either. It was just a game of not many chances, not much ambition, pretty boring.
Yeah, it's as you say, game of few chances. I think West Ham probably shaved it when it comes to the chances. Wilson at the end had a really good one, which was a good save from Petrovic. But it was a very, very tight game. West Ham clearly keeping it very close and not offering too much either way. Bournemouth, you know how they're going to play, but I think West Ham did a good job to just make sure that, they put the traffic in the road, as they say, and fair play to them. I think it's a point which, I think it's not a great point, but it's also not a terrible point. It's better than a loss, I guess, and keeps them ticking over in terms of unbeaten, keeps that a bit of momentum going. But I think looking back, they'll probably look at it thinking, could we have gone for a bit more? Could we have taken the game to them? Might have taken the win, but you are facing an informed Bournemouth side as well, so you've got to be wary of them. So I think it's not a fatal point for West Ham. And if in the end, they actually clawed points on Tottenham and Forest. So I think in hindsight, it's not a terrible point. But these are the kind of games as well. They've got some difficult games coming up. So, should they have gone more all out for the win here?
See, they did claw a point back on obviously Forest and Spurs, who lost on the weekend. But I'm looking at West Ham's fixtures, and they need to make the most out of these home games. They really do, particularly against a Bournemouth side who are on form, but they're beatable on the day. So I think West Ham should be a bit disappointed about drawing with Bournemouth today because, next 2 games, they go to Liverpool, they go to Craven Cottage at Fulham as well. Can't see many points in those 2 games. So they need to make the most out of it in these kind of games, in my opinion. So, yeah, on the face of things, they've clawed a point back against a good Bournemouth side. But I really believe that they need to be making the most out of these kind of games.
Yeah. Fair, but I think they're still got momentum. Only 2 points behind Forest now.
Yeah, but they got momentum, but if they go and lose to Liverpool and go and lose to Fulham, that momentum's gone.
Depends how they lose.
Yeah, true. I'm just looking at it, and
Fulham are not unbeatable. They can beat Fulham.
I guess they could, but it's a very hard game.
Yeah,
it's a very hard game
at the moment. Apart from Burnley and Wolves, they're all hard.
But I'm looking at their fixtures, West Ham, and I'm not seeing that many wins from now to the end of the season. I know, obviously, not what you expect always happens, but we look at the Spurs fixtures in a similar ilk, and you got to look at the West Ham fixtures in the same kind of manner. And I don't expect them to go to Anfield and win. I don't expect them to go to Fulham and win. Brentford at home, potentially. I don't expect a win against Man City. Don't expect a win against Aston Villa. So in those
I think they could beat Fulham. They could beat Villa. They're capable of winning those games for me.
They're capable of it, but will they actually go and do it? I don't think they will.
I think they're confident in them. I'm not saying they're going to win all those games. I'm just saying they've got momentum. They're confident. They're not backing down, and they are going to take some surprise results. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, I don't disagree that they'll take surprise results. I'm talking about expectancy in terms of, when you're looking at the odds. They're not favourites for those games. They're massively the underdog.
They're 18th, so they're not going to be favourites for a lot of games. That's just the nature of them being in that position.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they've got the quality to surprise some people, and they've got good momentum. They're still unbeaten, and I think they're going to be looking confidently going forward in those games.
Eventually, we'll have to wait and see how it pans out, but definitely still favourites for the drop. West Ham. Man City 2, Newcastle 1. We both went for City wins. You went for 4-2. I went for 3-2. First half show for Man City once again. Nico O'Reilly getting a double sandwiched in between a Lewis Hall goal that got Newcastle back in the game. But look, it wasn't all plain sailing for Man City, was it? Because I thought Newcastle gave them a really tough ride and a really big run for their money, created chances. Donnarumma was forced into an unbelievable save towards the end of the game. And I think Man City can count their lucky stars that they came out of this with 3 points.
Yeah, I think they just about shaved it, I would say. Newcastle definitely gave a good go of it, and it almost felt like whenever City needed that goal, they can just go and get it, and that's kind of what they did. But they definitely looked shaky going the other way. And Newcastle, we know
Diaz off at half time as well.
Yeah, Diaz off at half time. They did. I think it was tactical. Apparently, that's what Pep said.
Oh, really? Is that right?
Pep said it was tactical, which was quite interesting. When they didn't concede in the second half, did they? I think, Newcastle are a dangerous team, especially with teams like City. So to come away with the victory is obviously good. Nico O'Reilly with a brilliant brace from him. Fair play he's really coming into his own this season, isn't he, Nico O'Reilly? What a player. Shout to him getting called up to the England squad at the moment with the form he's on. So that's really impressive. But I think it was a good win. Wasn't the best performance, but I feel like they just probably shaded it.
What is Eddie Howe cooking up with Nick Voltemada in midfield?
He's Joe Linton regen.
What is going on over there?
He's trying something to get the most out of him. I don't know if it's going to be his long-term position. I think maybe if he's thinking more number 10 than centre mid, then maybe there's something there. I don't know if he's got the legs like Joe Linton does to be like a tough tackling central midfielder.
Because Joe Linton started on the bench. That was actually the substitution later on in the game. Joe Linton for Voltemada. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like Joe Linton in midfield. I mean, Voltemada in midfield. Yeah,
it's something that he's been trying for the last few weeks as well. It's quite interesting tactical development. Eddie Howe, people would have called him crazy for playing Joe Linton there. So he has an eye for it.
Yeah, absolutely. But in terms of the title race, obviously a big win for Man City just to keep them breathing down Arsenal's necks. Obviously that win took them within 2 points, but obviously what happened with Arsenal happened with Arsenal.
Yeah, they are 7 wins in 8 in all comps.
Yeah,
Man City. So they are building some momentum, and I think going forward they are looking good. They could have scored more goals in this game as much as they they probably got away with it a bit in the sense that Newcastle had some chances and Donnarumma had to make a great save, but as well they should have put this game to bed. And so I think they're looking all right, City.
Man City's next 3 games are 3 games with teams all in the relegation battle. West Ham, Leeds, Forest. They got to get 9 points, surely.
Have to, of course.
All right, next up we go to Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace back with 3 points, 1-0 against Wolves. There was a sending off in this game, wasn't there? Wolves got a man sent off.
Kicking the ball away.
I mean, he got booked on 58th minute and then he got his second booking on the 61st minute, Krejci. But Wolves miss a penalty in the first half, save from Henderson, which, could have been a different outcome in the game. You're thinking like Wolves get a penalty on the 43rd minute, potential to go 1-0 up, and then on the 61st minute it's 0-0 and they have a man sent off. So that's how the game turned. But Crystal Palace 90th minute winner from Gesand.
Yeah, they needed that as well, because a lot of talk about Glasner, his future. Is he going to be here right now? As obviously we know he's confirmed leaving in the end of the season, but he's just taking weird snipes, isn't he, in press conferences? He's saying things, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe they should sack me. He's like kind of begging for it, and they're not moving at the moment. They're
it's all very Conte-like.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. It's kind of like he just wants to pay out, but they've still got a lot to fight for this season. If they can stay up and have a real good go at that Conference League, there's still a lot to play for. So I don't understand why he would want out. I understand why he wants out at the end of the season, in terms of a whole footballing project. But right now, with that still to fight for, imagine he can have a Conference League on his CV as well as the Europa League. That'd be great for him. So and that'll be it'll be massive for Palace as well. So I don't understand why, if he's so basically begging to be sacked right now when he's got a really good chance of winning another trophy back to back.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like a bit of a toxic situation in the back end of Crystal Palace. And in the Conference League game last week, the fans were singing "Getting Sacked in the Morning," and they asked him about it in the interview after the game, and he says, yeah, maybe they're right.
Yeah, and maybe I would have chanted the same, yeah. I think, look, they had a horrible performance away in Bosnia, but they'll probably overturn it at home, won't they? They'll probably go through. And
I mean, it'll be a massive shock if they don't.
Yeah, and I think that win, 10 points now, clear of the drop, they should be all right, shouldn't they? As much as there's, it was 1 win in 15, but now a couple wins in the last 4. They should be fine. I think they're not going to get relegated. I think they're going to be safe and they can just fully focus on that Conference League, I think.
Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1 at the City Ground. Obviously, the new manager's first game in charge in the Premier League on the back of a really impressive 3-0 away win at Fenerbahce. 2-2 you went for. I went for 2-1 to Liverpool, so I gain another point in this game. But yeah, I thought Nottingham Forest gave a really good account of themselves, and I think on the back of winning 3-0 in Turkey and just about losing 1-0 in the last-minute goal for Liverpool, I think that will give the Nottingham Forest fans some, real big hope that they can beat the drop this season.
Yeah, they'll be gutted with how this game ended, because they were the better team for large parts and Liverpool were hanging on for large parts of this game. So they kind of rode the storm in that first half, Liverpool, and came back into it. And to be fair, they got the goal, got ruled out, and then they got another goal. And right at the end, 97th minute, Alexis McAllister again. Massive goal, massive moment for Liverpool. And a good win for them. 3 points behind Man United, keeping pace in the top 4. Look, Forest will be gutted, but as you say, I think the new manager, new kind of way of playing will give them a bit of hope that they should be all right. But
I think 2 really impressive performances for Nottingham Forest. Really impressive.
Yeah, but they didn't get the point, did they? So that will be a bit of a disappointment. It'll be a bit of a hit that they didn't get anything out of the game. But Vitor Pereira has experience here, so they'll be confident. I think they've got a good enough squad to stay up for sure. They've got a manager who's got a little experience of doing it, so they'll be confident. But they still lost, so it's got to be a bit of a shame for them. Yeah,
no, for sure. But they've got games coming up which I think they're going to win. The likes of Brighton away, I think they got a good chance of winning that. Then they go to City away, which is obviously very difficult. Fulham at home. The big game is Tottenham away. That's coming up at the end of March. I mean, that whoever loses that could be detrimental to one of those clubs.
It's massive 6-pointer, that one.
Yeah,
absolute 6-pointer.
All right, Sunderland 1, Fulham 3. Both us going for 1-0 to Sunderland. And yeah, losses at the stadium like London buses, isn't it? You wait so long for one and two just come along straight away. And got to give massive credit to Fulham for going to the Stadium of Light, where goals against Sunderland have just been few and far between, haven't they? And Fulham have got 3 there.
Yeah, it feels like, I think, with Sunderland losing that unbeaten home run, as soon as you lose it, and as soon as that goes against you, all of a sudden that momentum can shift, and all of a sudden that's now 2 losses at home in a row. And Fulham took full advantage. I mean, I didn't see much of this game, but going to Sunderland away and winning is never easy, and they've done that, and they made it look fairly simple.
Yeah.
I think Sunderland actually are not good form. Look at that, 4 out of 4 losses in the last 5. They're lucky they built such a healthy lead, because there'll be a worry.
Yeah, Sunderland all right. I mean, they're not going to finish like majorly high up in the top half. They're not going to get relegated. So they've kept their Premier League hopes or Premier League status for another year. So I think they'll be happy with that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm saying they've done very well, but they have to make sure that they build some momentum going into next season as well, because we've seen it so many times. Teams have a good first season, all that excitement, adrenaline, and then it kind of dies down in that second season. So they got to make sure they don't allow the season to really wilter away.
Yeah, for sure. All right, North London derby. Tottenham 1, Arsenal 4. Both of us going for a deluded 2-2. And yeah, when you saw both teams play it out on the pitch, it really was deluded to have.
Well, it could have been 2-2 at one point.
Yeah, it could have been, but it would have been majorly against the run of play. Like, Arsenal toyed with us for 90 minutes. It was a complete battering. Could have been way more than 4. Not too much of a departure from Thomas Frank and what we've seen under him. 2 batterings now at the hands of Arsenal on Spurs this season. They've scored 8 goals against us. We've scored 2 against them. And yeah, it was just an embarrassing night all round, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the fear of relegation is now all too real for all Tottenham fans. 4 points gap between Spurs and the relegation zone. Arsenal as well, extending their lead back to 5 points after a really damaging draw at Wolves. Was a very good reaction from Arsenal. But Spurs were kind of there for the taking, if we're being honest. I think Igor Tudor, first game in charge, he was brave in a sense that the way they played, they pressed and they went after Arsenal, but they just got picked apart. Arsenal were like an animal playing with its food. It was very easy for them to either play through us or break us down or do whatever they needed to do to win that game. It was definitely men against boys, and it was a hard game for Tottenham fans to watch at the end of the day. Always a possibility in that circumstances, considering Tottenham, the injury crisis they've got, 13 injuries. We had to just kind of put out what we could really in the game, and I kind of felt for Igor. Hopefully, going forward, they are going to be players back, but Tottenham are massively in the relegation dogfight right now, right in the thick of it, and on recent evidence, I don't know if they got the stomach to fight, and that's the biggest worry, I think, for Tottenham fans. Hopefully, look, for me, Igor's job isn't going to be judged on this game. It's going to be judged on the next few, especially, and in terms of can he get something extra out of his team, because this game was always possible to be a hiding to nothing. It's hard to learn too much from this game in defeat, but I think going forward now, let's see if he can get anything out of his games. Hard games coming out: Fulham, Forest, Liverpool, Anfield. So not easy games, but let's see if he can get something extra out of this team.
Yeah, not looking likely at this moment in time. But as I say, football's a funny old game. You never know what's around the corner. But in terms of Arsenal, we're all talking about bottling the title and all this kind of stuff. But back to winning ways and a comprehensive victory, which puts them back 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League, with Chelsea coming up next. I mean, it's all going to come down. I mean, what a big part of it's going to come down to that Man City game, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, especially if City have won that game in hand and it's only 2 points. I think the Carabao Cup final coming up is also going to be psychologically very big, and it's going to be very interesting to see who wins that and the fallout of that. How can that can affect the title race? I think Arsenal probably, in hindsight, everyone was talking about how this was a banana skin North London derby away from home, putting them under pressure. But I think in hindsight, given all the injuries we had and everything going into the game, it was probably a perfect game for them, a chance to batter us, confidence boost, and playing a very, very depleted team So I think Arsenal probably had it good in that sense.
You know, like the last couple of games, you've seen a few nerves kick in for Arsenal. You saw none of that. On the weekend.
Yeah,
So-
no, it did. But again, if the game would have gone 2-2, would that be in conditions for them to show a bit of nerves? I think against Wolves, they were 2-0 and they were cruising. And only when things, they got the goal back and all of a sudden it's close going into the latter stages, then there was nerves. We never really got it to that stage. But if it was 2-2 going late in the game, who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, enough of that. Everton 0, Manchester United 1. Monday Night Football. You went for 2-1 to United, so you get a point. I went for 1-1. And yeah, look, I thought United were the better team up until a moment in the second half where Everton started to grow in influence in the game. And it was kind of at that moment that Benjamin Sesko came on and scored the goal. I thought it was a little bit against the run of play. And then after they scored, I thought Everton were piling on the pressure, just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, trying their best to put Lamens under pressure from the corners and the set pieces, but it just wasn't to be.
Yeah, good win for United. 5 wins in 6 games now, and they've really got
Can't get that 5 in a row though.
Yeah, they can't do it, but they've got unbelievable momentum. Carrick has come in and done a great job so far. They did look confident. I don't think it was like the perfect performance, but going Everton away, never easy. It was one of those dogged, like classic away performances, wasn't it? Where away from home, you just got to dig deep and find a way to win, and they did that They did exactly that. So great win. Everton, part of a fight, but unfortunately was second best on the day. And fair play. Sesko, by the way, really growing in influence, isn't he? In form.
Yeah, it was a really nice finish from him as well.
Really good finish from him, and he's starting to grow in every week. It looks like.
Yeah, he had the opportunity, didn't he? A couple of minutes later to put the game completely to bed, trying to round the keeper, just didn't go for him. But great goal. In the goals recently as well. He's scoring some big goals for them as well. So big up to Sesko because he's having a great season or starting to have a great season now. But in terms of star man, you've gone for Cole Palmer. I gone for Enzo Fernandez. No goals, no assists for both of them.
Yep.
So we end off with 8 points the gap. So I closed it a little bit. Happy with that. We move on. Premier League predictions come out Thursday. So we'll see you then. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Have a good one, people.